Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett at Wednesday, which means it's a brand new comic book day, and in my hands, well, should be one of those releases. This is the Stringbags from Dead Reckoning. Dead Reckoning said it's out today, May 20th. Diamond has it on June something. But we're going to go and do a review now, and, you know, if it's out in June, it's out in June, but we're going to have this review today, because this is a really interesting piece of history, or at least a story taking us through some history. So it's by artist Garth Ennis, writer Garth Ennis, drawn by P.J. Holden, colored by Kelly Fitzpatrick, lettered by Rob Steen. And so this is a bit about World War II. Dead Reckoning does historical and military-focused graphic novels and stories. So this is about the British Royal Navy, who had these airplanes called the Fairey Swordfish. I want to get everything right on this because I'm sure someone will watch and tear me apart if I get it wrong. It's a biplane. It was very kind of outdated by World War II when that came along. At least everyone thought it was outdated and kind of an embarrassment of a plane, but in reality it wound up being really good, and partially because it was kind of so retro. Newer planes had issues dealing with it, and it was kind of a workhorse in many ways. For example, like the newer planes were going so fast it would just, like, they couldn't get targets on it and would fly past. Like, that's an example of why these planes wound up doing so well. This graphic novel is three different stories about a crew of this plane, and takes them through some interesting history. And this history I don't know, so I again couldn't tell you specifics of how much Ennis gets right, but it feels like a nice blend of fact and fiction. So the first is that they fly against the Italian fleet at Taranto, whatever. Which I guess was this really important battle that happened. There was the sinking of the Bismarck that they took place in, or at least part of, and then the end of the German ships going through the British Strait, which was a kind of a big deal then. And so it's called the Channel Dash is the historical name for it. And so it's three stories about this crew flying this plane, and the crew's kind of screw-ups, and there's some good humor to it, and it's one of those is like, it's good. Like, it's really entertaining, and Garth Ennis has been knocking it out of the park when it comes to military stories. He's been doing an amazing job of at times giving us fact, at times giving us fiction, blending the two, often taking real-world history and giving us stories to kind of teach us about us, to get us interested in it without, you know, really diving into the history itself too much, and sticking to the history, if you know what I mean. And this is what I think he does here as well. Like, it's really interesting stories about either these battles or just this plane in general, and I think more enough that will get you interested in either the battles themselves or the plane. And it really kind of got me thinking about the plane itself and why it wound up doing well. And I think he does a really good job of showing why it did so well, when it really should have been in a museum and then kind of put to the side. So I think it's a good read. It's an entertaining war story. Some good humor to it, and it's one of those is like, you know, I don't know how much detail there is as far as fact, but it definitely delivers more than enough that, like, I think there's some good chunks of it that feel very true, and then there's a lot of good chunks of it that make me want to go find out more. And that's, to me, is a kind of impressive thing, is a story that gets you to want to go and do some research. I think is pretty solid. And there's this nice little back about fact and fiction, which I honestly will admit I haven't read yet. I kind of want to do the review without reading that, but this will take you through, I'm sure, the actual history and a little bit more about the planes. But the events and the battles and stuff like that all seem pretty realistic. So the art is pretty solid. It's kind of hard to describe. It does have this, like, retro war comic vibe to it every so often. And then you get kind of styles like this would feel a little bit more comedic and not quite realistic. But overall, like, it's a good style. I think works really well for the story. The details feel really good. Again, like, I'm not an expert at these things, so I couldn't tell you, like, no, that's not how things would look or work or whatever. There's there's just it's good. It's really good, and I think kind of like the Churchill graphic novel Dead Reckoning also released is it's more than enough that gets me want to learn more. And it feels like a really good spot to entertain as well as educate a bit, and to get you to want to get more educated. So props to the graphic novel. I like it. If you are into war comics, I think it's well worth checking out. Dead Reckoning has been doing some amazing graphic novels when it comes to history and pieces of military history I have no clue about, so we're going to have a lot coming from them. Look forward to that. So this should be out in comic shops now. Maybe bookstores? I have no idea. Go hit up your comic shop. Either way, like you can order it for them, through them. They should be able to get this. Go support your comic shop. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. It'll tell if the shop's near you. No shop, no problem. We do have affiliate links, and some of those affiliate links do benefit comic shops. We obviously get a small percentage of it since it's affiliate link, but really go support your comic shop. Go find out if they do curbside pickup, if they do delivery, mail order, whatever. Go support your comic shop. Speaking of support, I want to thank Dead Reckoning for hooking us up with this review copy, and thank you for watching. Now, if you're into comics, if you're into graphic novels in general, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Till next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.